Guys, I just want to talk to people about your health, all right? So, there's a lot of things going on out there these days. Not very good with the FDA, you know. They approve things and the ingredients in them are basically toxic. You know, I'm talking about pretty much everything on your grocery list. And I can't help but to criticize people nonstop about this, but it's too hard to talk to people I love and people I know and all that. So I'm just gonna make this video and put it here, and maybe we can put it somewhere else. But they're trying to keep you in the loop of the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. Now, if you go up to anybody and talk to them and say, "Oh, the FDA is corrupted by big pharma and, you know, big ag," and they'll be like, "Yeah, I know. It's horrible, ain't it?" But then you see them go to the doctor, you see them getting their prescriptions for statins and all this other garbage, all the things that they're getting prescriptions for stuff that they already got prescriptions of that are causing side effects. But what a lot of people miss in this conversation is the big ag part of it. It's the biggest deal because that's your healthcare. Your healthcare is what you're doing to yourself. Are you doing things that are promoting healthcare? Like everybody's, you know, you hear a lot of people talk a big game about the future when it comes to like, you know, retirement and saving money and all this other shit. And I got my shit together because I got retirement money backed up and I, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? If you are eating FDA approved stuff on a regular basis, you don't got your shit together. Now, people talk about being a vegan. Being a vegan is dangerous. If you're a vegan, you have to eat so much fiber and carbs on a regular basis just to like... And what are you eating? Are you eating vegetables and fruits? Because have you seen how they grow that stuff? So unless you're really trying to get locally sourced stuff that way, then it's not really that big of a deal. I want to make this video short, so let's just cut to the chase. It's called the Carnivore diet, and all you got to do is just eat only meat. That's it. Meat, cheese, dairy products, eggs, obviously. You know, at first you're probably going to eat a lot of bacon because you're used to snacking, and that's actually good. You know, all the ways they've demonized bacon over the years, that's FDA propaganda, Procter & Gamble propaganda. Big ag is all across the board one of the biggest purveyors of lobbying the government to make sure that they can do whatever they want. And of course we all know about GMOs, but it seems like a lot of people have forgotten or just don't give a shit anymore. GMOs are bad. Glyphosate is a murder device, and you need to get the fuck off that shit. For real. Are we long enough into the video to say that? Yeah, get the fuck off of that shit. Come on. Seriously, you think you're going to eat fruits and vegetables your way out of fucking health problems? No, you're eating right into them. All fruits and vegetables are high in oxalates. Look it up. You know, I'm not going to do the research for you, but I'm going to tell you that it's not a good idea to not eat meat. Not eating meat is suicide these days. But also, you go to the grocery store and everything between the dairy aisle and the meat aisle is nothing but garbage. There's not a single thing in any of that that's going to do anything but fuck you up now. Now, if you look at the ingredients list on anything that you buy, it looks like someone ripped a page out of the Bible and stuck it on there or something. That's not healthy, man. And if you look at it, I'm sorry about the mosquitoes and flies, but I'm out in the middle of the country where you should be too, because it's beautiful out here. But anyway, rip those labels, look at them. Do you even know what any of that shit is? Why don't you try Googling it? Even Google can't hide the fact that all this stuff is poison and toxic and is going to kill you. Google's your friend sometimes. You can smoke all the weed you want. Sure, it radically removes free radicals like nothing else on the planet. But that's just not enough anymore. I used to say it was enough, you know, smoke a joint or two a day and all the free radicals will just disappear. But man, they are freaking pounding it. I'm not even kidding. Things that shouldn't have food coloring in it have food coloring in it. Things that shouldn't have preservatives that you can't even pronounce in it have that shit in it. Shit that has shit that's unnecessary for coagulation and, you know, just different texture-y stuff that they're talking about in the food, or, you know, to make sure it blends well. Like, that's all bullshit. There's natural ingredients that they could have used for that. And speaking of natural ingredients, they're really trying to push this, you know, idea that natural flavors is a thing, or natural colors. Look into those too if you want, man. They're not natural. Citric acid, look into that. I might sound like some kind of like paranoid schizophrenic person talking like this, but believe me, if you start looking into it, I don't know. Look, I don't know how to really say this well, but if you have diabetes, if you are in any stage of cancer for anything, you need to stop what you're doing with food right now. And you need to get on the carnivore diet immediately, because it's the only thing that's going to churn whatever you got going on around. Because what you got going on is caused by the food and the drugs, quite frankly. If you're on more than 2 prescriptions by now, let's just say you're in your 50s, like me. A lot of people in their 50s right now are on 5, 6, 7 different pills. What is going on? I'm on no pills. I mean, I don't want to like rip my shirt off like Hulk fucking Hogan or whatever, but I'm pretty fucking healthy, man. I haven't been to the doctor in 20 years or more. Like, even when I went then, I wasn't trying to get on the program. Nature. That sounded like a B-52 bomber. Anyway, you got to get out of the food, man. You got to quit the fucking Skittles. They told you the Skittles were fucking killing you, so they banned them in somewhere. I don't even remember. Titanium dioxide, was it? Who knows? Like, every ingredient in the Skittles ingredient list is something that they scraped off the bottom of an industrial waste site and made it into a food additive. Because literally that's what it is. And you can fucking Google that too. Wikipedia, which is run by the CIA. Wikipedia that shit. You'll see that shit like titanium dioxide couldn't even be nanoprocessed by nanoparticles. Do you really want to be involved in all that shit? And because it's an experiment, by the way. This inundation of all these really super toxins, neurotoxins, and genetic manipulated stuff, and you know, nanotechnology food additives. This shit's all experimental and new. They are not held under any kind of scrutiny, like, for example, other places in the FDA where you have to do trials, and they don't care about that with a lot of these food additives. All they had to do is go through drug trials when they were putting them in the drugs, and once it passed that, they're like, okay, cool, we can put it in the food too. So, and I'm sorry, did I just say that all the fucking things that are toxic, neurotoxic, and generally just really bad for you in many ways came from the drugs? Yeah, they're in the drugs too. So, and if you know what PEG is, that's where I learned that the FDA puts the same shit in the food as they already got approved for in the drugs, without having to go through the arduous process of the food. And then once somebody raised their hand and was like, hey, is that really safe to eat on a regular basis? I mean, I know it's in my pill, but that's just a little tiny thing, and it's only a little tiny % of that. But now you got this cheesecake and it's got, 10% of the same thing that this pill had in it. Oh, that's safe? And then the FDA is like, okay, here's the limit amount of safety. And if you look at their limit amounts of daily intake that is supposedly called safe and go by that, you got to consider that that limit is just for that thing that you're eating right now. You're going to eat 20 more things that day probably because you snack, and it's going to all have that shit in it too. So now you've doubled your limit, tripled, quadrupled. And by the way, metabolizing some of these things isn't like a 24-hour process, so you're going to have them in there the next day. And, you can start feeling the inflammation, and your feet start feeling like you can feel your heartbeat in your feet more than you should. And these are pre-diabetic symptoms. I'm not a doctor or a scientist, but I'm telling you what, I can read. And what I've read about these things comes directly from the NIH, directly from the CDC, directly from the FDA. The studies that when you look at an FDA article, they'll show you at the bottom where the study came from for the thing. So then you go look at the study, and you can look at the abstract, and you can figure it out real quick. This ain't that hard. So people that are sitting there acting like, oh, all you got to do is watch the health section on Sanjay Gupta on CNN, and no, fucking, are you serious? I know you didn't just say that. And if you did, you need to unsubscribe from my channel. I kind of want to wrap a bow on this, but I don't know how. Right now, somebody, I don't know who, I don't want to say it on this video, if I did know, but somebody's trying to make sure that everybody's sick. Everybody's always going to the doctor to get more pills. Nobody can figure it out. And the news guy can tell you that, the heart attacks are happening because people are playing too many video games and eating too many sausages. But what it comes down to is you need to take control of your own health. Because it's been proven time and time again that these people at the hospitals and the doctors and, they don't really care about your health. They care about money coming into their bank account. All right? They don't care about your health. Nobody in the government cares about your health. If they didn't prove that to you over the last 5 years, I don't know what shit you believe in, but what you can see with your own eyes should tell you that they care more about money than your health. They don't care about you at all. All right? I don't really have much more to say about all that. The FDA is the most corrupt, evil thing on the planet because it is directly responsible for harming American lives. All right? Now, I think the military-industrial complex is probably even more evil. But if you're just an American trying to live your life, the FDA is more evil. Because the military-industrial complex is true that they're taking, 60 or more % of your taxes that you pay the government. They're not trying to directly kill you. Unless they, too, are heavily invested in FDA corporations like Cargill, Monsanto, you can go down the list, and you got Procter and Gamble and Allied, and it just keeps on. It's a pyramid, and yeah, they are investing heavily in that because they have input on that. They have research that they've done to make war weapons out of food. Fast food, restaurant food in general is completely toxic shit. It's not going to kill you're not going to take a bite of something and just literally keel over. No, but you're going to have to go to the doctor. You're going to have to get some heart stents eventually. You're going to have to figure it out, because the real truth and the hard reality is it's the food. It's the food, it's the beverages. You drink a Gatorade and then you realize your body don't know the difference between a Gatorade and a Oreo milkshake with 3,000 calories. It literally doesn't know the difference. It's the same thing. Just because you threw a little electrolytes in with, 40, 50 grams of carbo sugar, and you get, don't even get me started on the zero shit. If it says no sugar in it, you could rest assured that it has 5 other neurotoxins that are just as bad or worse for you than the sugar. And it's because it's safe if you've already damaged yourself so much that you're diabetic. Alright, I can't really go any farther on this video because I think I might already be in, get my channel banned territory. But I do want to emphasize again, on a positive note, that there is a way out. It's called the carnivore diet. You just got to straight up eliminate everything except meat, cheese, dairy, things that come from the farm, essentially. Things that, all the way back to caveman. If you think that people that had readily available access to meat after the hunter-gatherer period of time, and you can read their memoirs, you can read their stories, they talked about this. I don't know, I can't stress enough, that in order to get the same amount of protein and vitamins and everything that you need, amino acids and just everything you need in a day, you can get from breakfast. And if you're comparing just having like a couple pieces of sausage and 4 eggs or 2 eggs, even, to like cereal and toast and pancakes and all this high carb, high sugar bullshit, it's not even close. Like, you're literally setting your day up for failure if you don't have a lot of meat and high intensity protein enriched dairy products in your diet. But to reverse serious damage that you've already done, to get out of the trap of the FDA, there's only one thing I know of, and that is the carnivore diet. Now, I'm not 100% on the carnivore diet myself, although I would like to be. But I have some weaknesses. Like, I drink occasional beer, like daily probably. Not the best thing to do on a diet of any sort. And I probably still intake about 100 grams a day, maybe more, and I'm not happy about it. But the thing I eat the most is meat, cheese, and I've always been told that these are bad ideas. Like, don't eat too much bacon, don't eat too much cheese, you're gonna clog your arteries, and that's not true. I've learned that by being in these groups on Twitter and Facebook, these carnivore diet groups, and what you'll find research has been done. This is all lies told you by the people that control the government, and the people that control the government control the media, and they generate stories to discredit, industries that they're taking over. And basically the agriculture industry got taken over by this big ag monster that's been run by seed companies and pesticide companies. And they got to the point where they were more powerful than the government. All right. I mean, Hillary Clinton sat on the board of Monsanto. She was a lawyer for Monsanto earlier in her career. I mean, this is just the kind of thing that we're talking about. Just huge, powerful entities. And what the FDA is it's like a Mobius strip. You eat the food, you get the symptoms, you go to the doctor gives you a diagnosis. The diagnosis has a list of solutions that always are pills. And the pills have side effects. Side effects will make you take more pills. and they never tell you to change your diet, and the cycle continues.